Good day, Father Matt Williams here. How are you? Happy Easter. I'm in the church, not in my parked car. I'm before the altar, and Jesus is behind me. And what a great Lent, and I can't believe that our Easter journey is over. But even though the Lenten journey is over, the Easter journey begins. And I want you to just reflect for a moment. Two things. First is that, Jesus Christ is risen, and that's the Easter mystery. He's risen from the dead. The challenge for us is that he always remained risen in me. That he always remained risen in me. And the greatest way to keep him risen in me is by following the example that St. Louis has given us in the Consecration. That we need to know ourselves, that we need to know the spirit of the world out there that's antichrist, that we need to know ourselves, that left to ourselves, we're not capable of greatness, but that yet the Lord, by his grace, wants to raise us up, and he's given us his Blessed Mother to be our advocate, our guide, our mother, our example, the one that we can turn to strengthen us, to form us, so that we, with our Blessed Mother Mary and the grace of God, can become the children that God has created us to be, that his light can shine through us like this light behind me from these beautiful stained glass windows, that we can live out the fullness of our baptismal promises. Baptism is the Easter sacrament. It's the sacrament of faith, and where so many people were welcomed into the church last night and today through baptism and then confirmed, coming into full Christian initiation and receiving First Holy Communion. But it all begins with baptism. And today, Easter Sunday, is really marked by the celebration of baptism, or the renewal of our baptismal promises. And when you renewed your baptismal promises today, I hope maybe there was something going in the back of your mind, how you had already recommitted to your baptismal promises just a few days ago when we made our consecration. So I'm telling you right now, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. But we have to keep on keeping on. We have to stay focused. We have to have a disciplined prayer life. St. Louis gave us some very challenging ways to pray in terms of the length of time and stuff like that. But that's what it takes, though. We need to pray. We need to spend a lot of time with Jesus. They say that John Paul II used to go 20 times a day to the chapel to pray. Now, he's a saint, okay? And if he needed to do it 20 times, and he's a pretty busy guy as a pope, how much more does Father Matt Williams or you need to go to the chapel all the time? And what was he teaching us by going to the chapel all those times? That he was in love, first and foremost, and he wanted to be with the one who he loved so much, but also that he knew that he needed to take time to pray in order that he can always be focused and being about what he's about, being about living out the fullness of his baptismal promises. Because remember, the Pope was baptized before he became Pope, and then living out his priestly duties and his episcopal duties, and certainly his duties, his responsibilities as the Vicar of Christ on earth. So we have to be more steeped in heaven in our relation with Christ than on earth, so that we can have that vision. So as we seek to go forward and live in Easter joy and live out our consecration, we have to make prayer. We have to make an appointment with God every day, and we really need to engage in prayer. Prayer is essential. If you don't pray, you're not going to make it. Prayer gives us that beautiful foundation so that we can keep living our consecration. Renewing ourselves each day, I would encourage you to entrust your day to Mary every day, praying a short prayer of entrustment or short Marian consecration prayer. There's some very brief forms. You could pray it in 1 minute of just renewing your consecration and trusting all things to Mary. Let us stay close to the sacraments. Sunday Mass, of course, every Sunday, but maybe even daily Mass. Maybe considering go to Mass each day. I would challenge you to go to Mass every day for the next 30 days. I promise you'll never be the same if you do that. Praying with the heart always. When our minds wander, we want to refocus. Meditating. We want to embrace meditating. Meditating on the Scriptures. Ignorance of the Scriptures is ignorance of Christ, St. Jerome says. But we want to embrace the Scriptures. We want to embrace getting to know the Word of God so we can get to know Jesus. Sacrament of reconciliation. We got to get to confession, maybe on a monthly basis. I would encourage you at least monthly, because you know what? Sin, it's tough out there, and we need the sacrament of reconciliation. And lastly, and this is kind of a challenging one, fasting. Once we're done with the Easter octave, maybe considering fasting 1 day a week on Wednesday or Friday. Deny yourself something, maybe fast on bread and water or do a day fast, but deny yourself something. Why? It just keeps us rooted that we're not going to live by our flesh, but we're going to live by the grace of God, and we're going to live for heaven, not by our selfish desires. So prayer, Eucharist, confession, meditation with the Scriptures, the Rosary, fasting. Those are the keys to living out this Marian consecration. Jesus Christ has given himself as a gift to us. Let us give ourselves to him as a gift and to our neighbor through Mary. God bless you. Have a wonderful Easter.